It's at 23rd and W.
I think so.
Yeah, it's old Lubbock Westnersfield. It's, I guess, where they practice. And there is no parking whatsoever. No parking. Morning, Mason. You know where you remember where you sit? All right, awesome. There are bathrooms right down this hallway. I think the first one, it'll be on your left, I think it's the men's. And you guys are welcome in class to get up and go if you need to go. Not a problem. I try to arrange it. If you ever see me walk out, if I'm not, go ahead and go. If you ever see me walk out while you're doing something and I'm not going to get copies, I'm probably running to the bathroom because I get up early on Tuesday, Thursday. That's sad to say. There's a lot of things that go wrong with your body as you get older. Well, you know, when you're young, it's like I used to wonder why my grandmother always had Kleenex. Because your sinuses don't work near as well. Everything gets to you. So that's why I have Kleenex up here. Let's see, where are we at time-wise? Oh, they should be coming in. I'll just be ready.
Do we not have a handout or anything?
No, we have nothing today. It's that exciting morning, Rodney. Nothing today, nothing on, unless I choose to find, some kind of another review page for, comma spices infused run-on sentences, which I actually went in and redid the test last night. I discovered it was an old test where you had to make corrections on the sentence. So now you just have to say, you select true if it is correct, if it's grammatically correct, or false if it's not, if it has a comma splice or fused run-on error. What I used to run into is when kids would correct things, they would correct all this extra stuff that they didn't need to correct. Good morning, how's it going? That's Hale Center up there, okay. Hi guys. There's Wellman, there's the Wallen last buddy. Hi Haley. My grandkids really enjoyed those donuts I bought for you. Sorry. My tire was flat Sunday morning when I got up. So, it's like, so I'm not, but Wellman, I'm coming Friday to see you guys, okay? Fair enough? Okay.
You just like switch off?
I just go, but because I have 8 or 9 schools, I just go to one school this semester. I don't even go in the spring. Morning, Jackie. I don't go in the spring because when Fridays come around and there's track meets, kids are gone for stock shows, it's just too hard to go see them. So I go in the fall because at least they're there because they got to play football on Friday. So that's what it is. All right, awesome. Well, what we're going to do today is we're going to, and then Health Center, you're in, you're not this Friday, but the following Friday. So, and yes, I take them donuts, and no, I don't bring them to you because I see you guys twice a week. So that's why it would get expensive. Yeah, that's true. But it's like, you know, I'll take donuts to Abernathy, and they're like, oh, we have a donut stuff, but these are better than those. They'll tell me that, and I'm like, okay. So, it's fine. All right, let's go look in here and look at the narratives. We'll talk about that. And as I'm talking about the narrative, going over the narrative outlines, I also want to mention some things about that I've seen on the paragraphs. I don't have all the paragraphs graded. I'm kind of partially through this class. It's taken me a lot longer than I thought. But I will hopefully get them all done by this weekend. It shouldn't take that long, but I'm just been slow, I guess. And yesterday, I've had to put things aside to get tires fixed so I can drive my car. So, one of the things I've seen is that we have some creative heading going on. Remember, in Blackboard, I gave you, in week 1, in course content, you have a copy of how to format a document for class. So I'm going to go back in and just remind you very quickly. I don't know, I think it's my kids from Post have done this really creative thing where they put on the top, they'll put their name and then they'll center the course, the title of the project, and then on the right-hand side they'll put the date. And I'm like, that's not MLA. That's not what I gave you. Where is this coming from? So I'm assuming their junior English teacher did that. But in week 1, go down to formatting documents for class. Okay, there it is. You open it up. It's already got the spacing. Everything is done for you, okay? Oh, man, man, that sure is tiny, isn't it? I'm gonna make it a lot bigger. We'll just go up here. All right, so everything's already double spaced. So I had somebody at your name, they put your name, colon, and then their name. I said, no, you just put your name there, nothing else. And it's really sad if you misspell my name since I have it spelled correctly in here. This is the one thing that's happened is I keep seeing section 159. Remember, SPC is section 208, and the 3 schools are section 443. It's taken me a while to get that memorized, but I have it down. And then the date, you don't get to change how the date looks. You don't get to go 9/3/2021. You always put the day first, and then you go September, abbreviate it, put a period after you abbreviate it. If you don't abbreviate it, don't put a period, okay? And then make sure you change the year to 2021. I had somebody turn in their paper, and it was 2022. And it's like, so just, it's called, when you turn in a document that I'm going to grade, you should go back and check it. Makes sense, right? We should do that. This is an English class. She's, a picky old lady, all right? So then the next thing, the title of an assignment is the same size as the rest of the assignment. It's centered on the page. You don't make it bigger. There's always someone that's going to turn in that narrative, and the title of their narrative will be about this big on the page. And, I realize that it's important to you, but it's not that important in the scheme of things. And then the other thing that's happened is I've had paragraphs not indented. That happens. Okay, it happens. I will ping you on it. And then you put your paragraph in, and all of a sudden at the bottom of your paragraph I see the document is always double spaced in the first line of the paragraph and hits 5 spaces. You didn't delete that. That's my comment. So, and trust me, if you did it, you're not alone. I've seen it about 10 or 12 times out of about 40 papers so far, 40 to 50 papers, okay? So you're not alone. So you need to look at your document. And remember, when you turn a document into Blackboard, it gives you a preview. If you don't get a preview, that might mean there's something wrong with what you didn't use the right format, okay? So that's just a heads up on that. So now let's go look at the narrative drafts, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna look at what you wrote, and we're gonna see everybody. So if you didn't get one turned in, you can still turn them in. They reduced Sunday night. So if you don't turn it in until today, you're gonna lose 5 points. It's 10% off for each day late. Yesterday was 2.5, today's 5 points, tomorrow will be 7.5, after that you get a 0. I don't grade anything that's more than 3 days late, okay? And it's business days, which means if something was due on Friday and you don't turn it in until Monday, that's only 1 day late. You get the gimme of the weekend, all right? Let's see, needs grading. Let me get where I need to be. And, I need to go back a page. Let's see. There we go. We're starting off with Reed. So Reed, I don't mean to embarrass you, but you were the first one to turn it in. Okay? It's okay with you? Okay, and the one thing that I do notice, that I've noticed on the paragraphs that I've looked at, I've had a lot of people turn them in, not the paragraphs, narrative outlines and the paragraphs, with little i's in place of capital I for the first person pronoun. Come on. You're turning in work to an English teacher. You're not texting on your phone to your buddies or your girlfriends, okay? Let's be careful about that. I'm not going to ping you on grammar or anything, but I will tell you if you spell words really badly, okay? This is in a discussion board, so it's a little bit easier for me to grade it. It's just quicker. That's why I like to do it. All right, the conflict or source of tension in my essay is the time I shot my first buck. Shooting a deer for the first time can be one of the most ambiguous experiences a person can go through. That's an interesting word to use. Good and bad is what I'm getting from that, right? Yeah, you killed something. It's like, have you ever hit an animal in your car? It hurts you when you do that. Okay. The length and time is about a day long. I'm assuming early in the morning you went hunting? Okay. The emotional response my narrative creates in me is nervousness and lots of excitement. And yes, I think it might provoke a similar response if the reader has similar interest in hunting. I don't know anything about cars. I don't know anything about guns. I'm just telling you. I'm lucky that I can go out and find my car in the parking lot. I'm not a car person. Because I had somebody mention, was it you that wrote about? Somebody wrote about wanting to be their future careers, and they wrote about wanting to be to work on cars. And they said something was a JDW? Huh? Was that you? What's a JDM? I don't know.
It's like it's a company, or it's the manufacturer, but it's like Japanese cars.
Okay, so you have to, that's one of the things you have to consider when you write, is your audience. I don't know guns, I don't know cars, all right? I kinda know computers, cause I have to use them, but, you have to consider your audience, so you can't just go with an assumption that the reader knows what you're doing, okay? You need to know things about them, so I've already told you. So be careful about writing about hunting and cars, cause I won't know it. So you have to give me more information. Let's see, the incident fully supports the statement. So we're gonna hear about the first time you went hunting. Where are you from, Reed?
Fort Worth.
Fort Worth, okay. Outside of town, or
Yes, ma'am.
what little town?
Aledo.
Aledo, yeah, pretty good football team, right, okay, see? Football. All right, so this is what's really cool here, is look, he turned it in, he did a decent job, he got 25 points, right there. All right, Emily is up next. Emily, let's see, I don't know where Emily's from, let's see, Emily is from, Hale Center, okay. The tension of my essay is when I took my car home. The day I bought my first car, I could only imagine the experiences I could gain with it. That's something about a car. You know, cars give us freedom. And as you hear me talk, notice how I'm trying to connect to what you're writing. Writers, the whole point of writing is to share with someone else, right? And have them get insight into you, so you need to make that connection with the writer. That's what good writers do. That's why Stephen King sells so much, because people love being scared. Well, not except me. I don't read Stephen King. So, yeah. But so that what you put up here is I'm trying to connect to it. I had somebody in one of my classes yesterday, and this is a high school girl who has myasthenia gravis, which is, the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge? It is a slower version of amyotrophic sclerosis, okay? And this is a high school girl, and you're just sitting there thinking, that's not fair. Somebody that, shouldn't have that kind of thing to deal with. So you were trying to connect, and so you're trying to create an emotion, so those kind of things will create it in me. So I'm letting you know that sharing is good. Don't share it too much. Okay. Let's see. The length of time is a fairly short period, ranging about a couple of weeks or so. Okay. The emotion arises from the excitement and pride. And so at some point in time, Emily, I sure hope you tell me what kind of car you got. And maybe the color. And did you name your car? Come on. The first time you get, don't you name your car? Do you have a name for your car? Come on. POS, right? Piece of. Because normally our first car's not that great. My first car was probably 10 years older than I was at the time, so. And I was 16, so. Let's see. It supports it. So you're feeling confident, so. Between lines or even blatant as day. Okay. All right, Emily. So we're going to find out about your new car, or your first car. Let me phrase it. New implies it's new to you. Haley. The source of tension is the influence my dad has had on me. My thesis is my dad has been present my entire life and influenced me in many ways. All right. She's going to talk about her dad. I don't remember who her brother wrote about, so I'll have to go back and see if I can find his. Okay. The length of time is non-traditional. It's probably going to be 3 short flashbacks in time. That works. Instead of her writing 3 paragraphs about how her dad's always there for her, he supports her in everything she needs, and he loves her unconditionally, she's going to give us 3 incidents that show, I hope, versus tell. Because a lot of times when we write about a person, you tell me, oh, they're always there for me, they give me unconditional love, they support me all the time. Aren't those basically kind of the same thing in a way? So it's much better to show than it is to tell. Let's see, the emotional response I'm getting is happiness, the feeling you get from nostalgia and reminiscing on memories. I'm glad she could spell reminiscing, because I couldn't, so. Hopefully after the reader reads the essay, they can have the same emotion and get happiness and nostalgia from their parents. Okay. All right. Sounds good, Haley. Let's see. We're up to Kylie. Kylie is from, I'm doing this to help me out too, by the way, Health Center. Learning the hard way that the world can be a cruel place. Since people have roamed the earth, there's always some kind of problem going on. I'm getting some very generic kind of things going on here. I'm going with the notion, let's look at this one. I feel upset about all the people making problems based on their own opinion. I think most people would agree with me on a certain level. I'm still not sure what she's going to write about. It's a problem that you have with the world. I have somebody, at one of my schools who wants to write about people not getting vaccinated for COVID. I thought, you're writing an argumentative essay here in a narrative. Be careful. Be careful. So I thought it was very interesting. So I'm still a little foggy on what you're writing. You know, learning that the hard way, the world can be a cruel place. That could be, you can go a lot of ways with that, so be careful on this one. I'm unclear. Wasn't quite as clear as I'm going to write about how people should be vaccinated for COVID. I was like, Xavier, okay. Xavier's probably, at a guess, going to be from, Health Center. Just because the bulk of the class is from Health Center, okay? The conflict is the other swimmers in my heat. My thesis statement is racing in the winter swim meet was my most stressful and proud moment in my life. Health Center has a pool? Does Health Center have a pool? Help me out. You guys have a pool? Or are you making this up?
No. No, we don't have a pool.
Oh, you don't have a pool. Oh, you don't have a pool. Stop for a second, you might be sundown, because they do have an indoor pool. And their kids do swimming lessons all year long. That's tough, isn't it? So this is, hey, Xavier, wave your hands at me, Xavier. Hi. Okay, so is this fiction? Just wait, say yes or no. Yes or no? I can't.
No.
Fiction?
No.
My length it's one swim meet or one day? Okay. I want the essay to create suspense and a sense of pride to the reader. I think that the reader will feel for some of the events, and the incident does support my statement. All right, so we're going to write about a swim meet, and it says stressful and proud. So when it says that in that thesis sentence, I'm going with the notion that there was stress, but that you probably did fairly well. You may not have won, but you might have placed. That's the impression I'm getting from that. Y'all see? I'm picking up on that? And I love to swim, so. I haven't swum in over a month. It's driving me crazy. It's a great exercise. No stress on your bones. Good aerobic exercise. Mackenzie. Let's see. Mackenzie is from Wellman Union. Mackenzie, wave at me. Oh, I can see your hand. All right. It's a good-looking hand you've got there. So, okay, let's see what Mackenzie's going to do. The conflict of my essay is the troubles I went through. My thesis statement is how some issues have impacted my childhood. Ooh. I'm getting papers about parents divorcing from my earlier class, from my Monday, Wednesday classes. I'm getting issues with parents, so this will be interesting to see. Yeah, the thing is, you should write about stuff that you know, I have one or two people who are going to do fiction, and maybe one of them Xavier with the swimming, but and that's okay. It's okay to do that, but we tend to write better about things that we have experienced because you have more knowledge. I had a guy in summer school who was retired military, and everything was about the Navy ships that he had landed on and the places he had traveled to. He wrote about what he knew. That's what counts. You're going to write better. He couldn't do that on the argumentative essay, so he got stuck on that one. Let's see. So we're going to do second grade till about seventh grade year, so hopefully we won't have a paragraph for every year. That might get a bit much. It's going to be in the way of flashbacks, all right, which has a very fictional sound to it. My emotional response is going to be revolved around how you're limited to what you do in your childhood because of circumstances. That's true. You know, I mean, I would love to have learned to ride horses when I was young, but we lived in Alaska and there weren't a lot of horses around that Air Force base my dad was stationed on. And, you know, right, there are things, I would love to have taken gymnastics, but it wasn't even a sport when I was young, I guess, so, yeah. I wouldn't have been very good at it. Okay. Yes, I do, because I believe at some point something has stopped us from having a good memory somewhere in our childhood. Ever had a bad memory from childhood? Yeah, the time I lost the math competition and I wrestled the girl in the snow in Alaska because she beat me, and it was speed math. Okay. That was my thing. And this fully supports me statement. Okay. That's all right. It's grammar. I'm not going to have too much of a cringe there. All right? So it'll be interesting to hear about her childhood. Michaela. Hold on. From Health Center, surprise. Okay. The complex source of tension in the essay is how obstacles can make following a dream harder to achieve. Okay. Following a dream is harder when obstacles are thrown in your way. No second person, okay? Unless you're quoting someone there. And if you're quoting somebody, you have to give who that source is. All right, Michaela? The length of time will be during the semester of a school. I had somebody write about how they quit cross-country their senior year, and it's their senior year right now. So I thought that was kind of cool. I quit track my senior year. It was no great loss to the track team, so they didn't care. The emotional response is stressed and worried about what may come, and I do believe other readers will be able to relate to how I was feeling in the situation. Okay, so and it's true. When you're in school, and everybody but Rodney's just out of high school, right, basically, maybe a couple years out. You know, Rodney's been out for a while. But you remember how stressful it was in high school? So we thought it was stressful until we got into real life, right? It's a lot more stressful. Okay? All right. Some of the things kids write, they just make me smile. And I will tell you, a lot of times when things are misspelled and done, have I talked about some of the words? Like I had somebody write a paper one time and they wrote about the impotence of Japan. It was supposed to be importance. They couldn't spell. And spell check will help you. If it's underlined in red, it's a misspelled word. You might want to check, except for the fact that impotence is a word, and you spelled it correctly. We're up to Kenya. Am I saying that right? Kenya? Olivas? Okay. You guys can correct me when I get to Health Center, okay? Wait, except for Kenya's at Wellman Union. You can correct me on Friday and tell me how to pronounce your name correctly, okay? Kenya, wave at me. Where are you? Hi. Oh, I'm waving back, but you can't see. All right, the conflict in my statement is how I was affected by living in Mexico for 3 years. Living in Mexico. All right, just to point out, when you say my thesis statement is living in Mexico, that's not a statement. That's a phrase. It's not got a subject, it's not got a verb. Thesis statements are complete sentences. Living in Mexico. I'm just going to ask you a quick question. So, were you here for a while and then you went and lived in Mexico for 3 years? Is that basically what happened?
Yes.
Yeah.
I left whenever I was in junior high.
I can't hear you. I'm going to go with the notion that's probably, because if you had just immigrated from Mexico and that was originally your home, you wouldn't talk about living there for 3 years. Right? Help me out. We'll find out. Let's see. My essay will be summarized for the most important events while I lived in Mexico for 3 years. The response is how I compare things either for good or bad to everything that surrounds me. I believe I will draw attention to those readers who moved from their home and had to start all over again. Yeah. I moved a lot growing up, so, because Dad was in the military. Yes, this experience fully supports the statement I have chosen. Okay. Cool. You can see this is going fast today. We might get out early. Catherine. Catherine is from Health Center. Okay. What is the conflict? The president mandating companies with 100 or more employees. Okay, this is another COVID one. People should follow the COVID vaccine mandate because this is the only way to decrease the spread and get the virus under control. Is that the debate topic, the CX debate topic this year? I was a debate coach, so. Yeah, but because that's what it feels like, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay. How many of you are vaccinated? 3 out of 5. That's actually 60% is better than what it is in the population, right? If we add me, it's 4 out of 6? So that's 66%. So, interesting. Cool. Well, you need to meet, what's his name? Stephen over at Abernathy. You might know him. Okay. The incident should be limited until the majority of Americans are vaccinated. Woo! Okay. The emotional response, it gives you anxiety because we're trying to get this dadgum disease under control. Okay. Do you think it will draw their vote? Yeah. I'm kind of anxious about it a little bit. And every time I get out of my car here and I don't put on a mask, because we wore masks all last year. We met in person, but we wore masks, and you had to clean off your tables when you got done. So, interesting. Okay. Not everyone is going to get it. There are going to be people that are for it to protect not only themselves, but the surrounding economy. Okay. Interesting. Oh, I bet she was going, somebody else was writing on the same topic in another class. Matthias. Okay, there we go. My conflict that I chose was my first car because it broke down on me 2 months after I got it. Dadgummit. That bites, doesn't it? That would be a source of tension without a doubt. It took about 2 months. I wonder if it always ran smoothly or if it had some issues. Okay. The emotional response I get is sadness due to this being my first car and the time it broke down me and you had to get another car because that one wouldn't work. It supports the thesis, the statement I've chosen for the narrative outline. Okay. Cars are important. Cars are freedom. In symbology, up until the car becomes widespread, starting in the 20s, we had other things that symbolized freedom, but cars allow you to move around. Cars changed the way we live. We changed from basically a rural, economy-based kind of thing going on to urban. Because with cars you can move and travel, and people don't stay in the same place all the time. Y'all aware of that? I'm getting into sociology, where I'm just an English teacher. Okay, next up, Rodney. Okay, let's see what's Rodney about. Okay, my deployment in Afghanistan is a source of tension in my essay. The War of Terror was 20 years of hell, but I would do it again. Capitalize that I, okay, Friday? Okay. The length of time in my essay is 11 months. How many times, were you only deployed once over there?
No, 3 times.
3 times? Oh, amen, hallelujah, you survived, honey. Sorry, I just had to say that. Oh, it was bad enough. So was it a year at a time that you went? My dad was in...
And it used to be a year. It used to be 15 months, and then they went down to 12 months. Now it's 10 months.
Okay. My dad was in Vietnam for 2 years, so that was not fun. That was, and I'm just going to give you an idea. The war in Vietnam was the first time we had reporters on site, but it wasn't, bless you, that was a big one. It wasn't like it is now where you've got the news like that. It had to get sent, so there was a delay in the information. But we always knew, and every day they would tell us how many were injured, how many Americans were killed, which is really fun to hear when you're, how old was I? 11, 12, all the time.
You know, we had combat photographers that would like follow us around and record everything.
Yeah. So they did that, but it just wasn't as immediate. The news wasn't as immediate. So that's why there's a difference in how military is perceived now to how that was when people were in Vietnam. Definitely, we were not treated well in California in the 60s. I'll tell you that much. So it's much better for veterans and their families now than it was. Oh gosh, I hate that thing. Okay. Let's see, the emotional responses that I've created are the excitement of seeing a new country and helping the local population. Also, the fear of the unknown and terrorists. Yes, I believe it will draw the right reader. Yeah. Okay. I'm already with you. I'll be honest, though. I don't know. You've only been out for a couple of years? I retired in April. In April? Okay. So your children, particularly the oldest one, is more aware of what was going on, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't like movies. I don't like anything about Vietnam because my dad was there. So I don't know if that might be something that might be happening with yours.
Yeah, they don't like it.
Yeah.
They're all from different states. Uncle is deployed, they're born.
Yeah, we think about the effects on the server, the members in service, but their children, it's a totally different effect on the kids. Okay. Brevin, you're up next from Health Center. Brevin, wave at me. Where are you? Brevin. Oh, way at the back. Sit as far away from the teacher so she can't watch you when you're playing on your phone, right? Just joking. Just joking. Let's see, Brevin. Let's see. The conflict in my story is about electric cars being the best idea we've made to save up. I believe electric cars will benefit us in a lot by saving up and not having to get gas all the time. Okay. Have they done any studies on if it, you have to charge them? How do they charge you for the electricity? You have to go to charging stations, is that correct? Is that right? You go to a charging station to charge your car? You can't just plug it into the wall at your house, right?
Yeah,
you can. Oh. So you
go to in bigger cities, they go to Walmart, and then you could just plug it in.
But they charge you for that. Huh. So, I'm sitting here thinking about pollution, because, you know, to create electricity, you have to have something creating electricity. Okay, cool. I hadn't expected one about electric cars. We'll see. Let's see, the difference, what is the length of time, the difference between the newer cars and back then cars? Okay, that would be me. I'm a back then car and you guys are electric cars, right? Is that what we're saying? That's just a joke. To try and get you to believe that getting electric cars will benefit us, and yes, it should, because the reader should think about all the causes and effects it will have. Okay. These people that want to argue. All right. I believe inherently that all writing is argumentative. I'll be honest. Okay, but because I've argued to state that this will be a good idea and explained that the new cars are better than the old cars. And that's just another thing for you to realize. When you write your narratives, you're trying to convince me that this is, whatever you're telling me is true, that this was a good or bad experience. Isn't that arguing, in a way? In your paragraphs, you were trying to convince me whatever you were writing about. So that's, you know, inherently, whenever we talk, I'm trying to convince you that you better listen to me so that you can make a good grade on your papers, right? Okay. It's all argumentative. All right. Interesting. Electric cars. Cool. Okay. We're moving on to Austin. I want to make sure. Hinkle Day? Did I say it right, Austin? Austin, wave at me. Is he hiding? I said it. I butchered it, didn't I? Right? Is he way back over there on the back row? Yeah, hiding on the back row. Okay. I just think it's a great name. I do. Let's see, the conflict in my essay is about the day I decided to change my life would be the fact that I still sometimes use old habits that I'm breaking that are slowing my progress. I made a big decision and it's going to be life-changing. Okay. Spring my freshman year till August of that same year. So it's a couple of years ago, all right? It creates a sense of motivation to me and explains the reason I need to get out of the hole I dug myself into. Okay. So now I'm wondering, when you dig yourself into a hole, you've gotten into trouble of some kind, detention. Yes, I think the reader might get motivated to set a goal or chase a goal they set for themselves. And yes, I believe it does. Okay. Still a little mysterious. Not as mysterious as that other one where it was very vague. Okay. But he's got something he's got to overcome. Some kind of difficulty you put yourself into. Canyon. I just think that's an awesome name for somebody. Canyon, where are you? Are you a girl or a boy? I can't tell. Don't laugh. All I can see is a hand. Lean over. Is that a girl or a guy? Can y'all see? I mean, our screen, you know, when you see me, it's a big screen. It's a guy with glasses? Okay. I can't tell. So, again, you can straighten me out when I come up in a couple of weeks, okay? All right. My house burned down when I was 10. If I could go back, I would watch the fire rage in my own eyes. Ah, you want to see it happen again? That didn't scare you? Oh. It creates moments of sadness. The length of time will be a day. It'll invoke pity and despair. Yeah. Wow. Did this happen in Hale Center or somewhere else? So you can see the questions I'm asking about where it occurred. Because I'm trying to think, when you were 10 years old.
This happened in Abilene, Texas.
7, 8 years ago. There was those big fires out north.
This happened in Abilene, Texas.
What do you think? What do you say again?
This happened in Abilene, Texas.
Happened in Abilene. Okay, thanks. All right. Whew. Okay. That, you know, I've dreamed about my house burning down. Have y'all ever had those kind of dreams? They're a little, you haven't? Oh, they're a little scary. It's, you know, you're afraid, you know, it's important to you, it's something. If you lose it, you kind of lose part of yourself, so it's kind of understandable. Adrian, let's see. Adrian is from Wellman Union. Wave at me, Adrian. Yeah, there you are on the front row. Okay. Let's see. The source of tension in my essay is the influence my mom had on me in my life. Now, okay. Is your mom still with us? Yes, just nod yes or shake it no. Okay, because when you said the influence my mom had on me implies past tense. So that's why I asked that question. So what's obvious to you is not always obvious to a reader. multiple flashbacks that are each around multiple hours in length. Okay. All right. Now, the emotions I felt were a sense of happiness and gratitude for what my mom has done for me. Now we've got a present tense. I believe my reader will feel similar emotions. Make sure then that when you're writing about the past, you put it in past tense. So those body paragraphs where you're doing the flashbacks need to have consistent tense in them, and it needs to be past, whereas your introduction conclusion can probably be present, and you're fully supporting. Okay. There we go. So, yeah. All right. Caitlin. Health Center. When in doubt, it's got to be Health Center. Okay. What is the source of conflict? A secret hideout that I have with my brother. The place between the walls will have an everlasting happy memory. Okay, I don't know, but this sounds a little bit like Hugo to me. You ever seen the movie Hugo? About the little boy that lives in the walls of the Paris train station? Okay. Did you guys happen to see, yes, did you happen to see Ender's Game? The movie Ender's Game? Hi, you guys need to get out and watch some science fiction, okay? Hugo? Yeah, it was probably award-winning one. That kind of has that feeling to me. What is the length of time? The summer when my brother and I were 10. Are you twins?
No.
Okay. No, is this fiction?
No, we're
Oh, okay.
just really
You
close
live
in
between the walls.
age.
You live between the walls. Cool. All right. A very happy memory, possibly. Well, she's hoping that okay. But you were somewhere where you could hide the place between the walls. Does the incident fully support? Okay, I'm intrigued now, because, it sounds like it could be a Disney movie, family movie or something, right? Or one of the Goosebumps stories, either way, right? Okay. We're up to Caleb. Okay, Caleb's like, oh, crud. All right, here we go. What statement have you chosen as your thesis? Jazz All Region Tryouts. I was really wanting to make it this year. I didn't realize they had specifically jazz tryouts. Is that only at upper levels, or?
No, it's just for the people in the area.
In the area? Can you go to state in it, or?
No.
Okay. Okay, and you went to? Coronado, okay. What instrument do you play?
Trumpet.
Trumpet, okay. I have a former student who is now working on his master's at Michigan, but he got a full ride scholarship to OU as a saxophone player. He plays jazz. He's got his own channel, YouTube channel. He's good. He's actually the only student I've ever had who scored 36 on the ACT. He got some scholarships. Music helps make you smarter. Okay, let's see. The limited in time, so you're taking a couple of weeks. Oh, it took a while to get the results. So did they video it and then?
We had to do an audio recording.
Okay.
And so they submitted that, and then they listened to it, and then they get the results.
Okay, that's cool. I was wondering, because, COVID made so many things different, that a lot of things had to occur virtually, so. I know that, all academic competitions, so I'm assuming band and music also shut down. But last year, at least, we were allowed to, I helped judge poetry and informative speaking at regionals for 1A, so. Okay. Let's see, Dan Smith, I was really nervous, but I think I did good. You did well. You did well, not good, okay. It all turned out great in the end, so I'm assuming you made it, right? Did you get to do anything because of that, or you just got a piece of paper or a little medal?
Pretty much.
Okay, hey, it all counts. There are more scholarships in music than there are in athletics. So, and all you have to do, in a lot of stuff at the state is get there at the state level. I had debaters make it to state and make it to octafinals, so they got scholarships for that. Ready Rider, who's actually working on her master's in theater arts in Indiana now. So I've got another one who's on the TV down in Waco. So there's a little more money than in those than there is, because there's a lot more out there, I think. Only so many people can play football at one time. And we saw an onside kick yesterday. The other team didn't know what to do with an onside kick. So they just watched it roll, and so, my grandson's little team landed on the ball and got it, so it's kinda cool. All right, so you believe it's supported, sounds interesting. Cool, all right, so, Jackie's up next, isn't that interesting? Let's see, what's your statement intention? Be aware of your surroundings while driving, okay. And what could happen if you're not careful? The statement would be having a distracted-free environment. Were you on your phone? Oh, girl, you're one of those. How bad was the wreck?
I rolled over.
You didn't total your car or anything?
Yeah, I did.
I actually have somebody who's writing about rolling their pickup truck, and so that's interesting. My brother did that. And you're saying that, we're driving to go to the football game yesterday, and we're driving down Frankfurt, and there's a huge SUV who's laying over on its side in the front yard of some townhomes. Yeah. And you're like, phew. So, distracted driving. So you can always tell when somebody's distracted driving, can't you? You know, you see there and they're kind of weaving around and, you know, and they go slower because they think that will help. So you're not ever, you put your phone down? Okay. Good. But you weren't seriously hurt. That's good. That's a blessing right there. Okay. The time limit would be 1 day. So, did it happen on the way to school or on the way to work?
I was driving back to my hometown, and it was like in the middle of the night.
So you did it in the dark? Oh my gosh. So your hometown is, remind me? El Paso. Oh wow. It wasn't on that huge hill that you have to come down before you get into El Paso, is it? Have y'all ever driven to El Paso? I've only been there a couple of times, but I remember you go up this hill and you go down. So, wow. Anybody else with you? So, I was intrigued enough that I want to know about it, but I'm glad you were safe, but your car was not so good, huh? Was somebody was right there right away, or?
Well, it's because I was on my phone, and I had just one text message, and there was a coyote coming across the road, and I didn't want to hit it, but I swerved, and I swerved the other way, and then I went down the mountain.
Okay. All right. So here's a do not drink and text. Do not text and drive. Okay. Oh. So you didn't hit the coyote. It survived, but your car did not. Okay. Oh, wow. So, yeah. Well, I can remember 10, 12 years ago, there was the girl from a small town who was texting and driving, and it killed her. And the parents started that bust. Buckle up, stop texting. Here in this area, you guys are too young, okay. And you feel like support it. So it's gonna be interesting. So I got the summary of it, so we'll see how well you cover it, okay? I'm glad you're safe. You and Rodney, I'm glad. See, Lorena is from Health Center, surprise. Lorena, wave at me. Is that her pushing her hair out of her face in the back? I don't know. I will find out. Okay, the hardest lesson I had to learn was that the world we live in is not sunshine and rainbows. Did I miss out on something? What? Okay, if it was good, I wanted to hear it, okay? Oh, what do you think? That's kind of vague, that the world we live in is not all sunshine and rainbows, so. The beginning of high school, so, so we're talking about freshman year, would that be right, Lorena? She's hiding from me. Okay. So, something happened that made her sad. That's all I know. And that's the beginning, by the way. Let's see, I wanted to create a serious tone. I think it will draw people in to know the real world we live in. Bad things happen in our world, don't they? You can testify? You can testify? You can't because you did okay with your jazz story. Okay. All right. So, we'll see. Again, it's kind of vague. So, be careful what we're doing. Jocelyn Zamudio, does that sound like I said it right? Zamaudio, and Jocelyn is from Health Center. Don't often get people with Z's as the beginning of their last name. It's kind of cool. There's a tension that occurs in between two family members. Oh, okay. I want to ask for the time limit, not the word limit. Okay, Jocelyn? So, you might want to just make sure that the tension that is between two family members, that you don't try to cover too much time. It is a sad and gloomy feeling towards both the writer and the reader, and yes, it does. So, a little bit of confusion there, so let's make sure we read carefully, okay? Let's see. Otomaris Chavez, probably from Hell Center. No, Wellman Union. Otomaris, where are you? Do you go by Odie? Otomaris? Odie? What? Maris? You can answer it this weekend, just wait. You can tell me on Friday. If y'all want to come up here and sit in the room, there won't be anybody to let you in, so. Okay, let's see. The source of tension in my essay is how it was growing up with my sister. My thesis statement is growing up with my sister. Again, that's not a thesis statement, that's a phrase. Thesis statement's got to be a complete sentence. Growing up with my sister was a great time. Growing up with my sister sucked. Growing up with my sister was difficult. You got to have a verb and something that tells what it was. From the ages of 1 to 6 years old? Ooh, that's interesting. I don't know if you're talking about your age or her age. That's unclear in there. The emotional response of the writer is a feeling of nostalgia, since I'm going back to some of the best parts of my childhood. So now we're finding out that it's going to be good, right? I believe it might create a similar response in the reader, so I had to get down to there to find it. Okay, we'll wait to see what you are writing about your sister. Okay, Caden. The source of homecoming is the best week at school. Have you guys had homecoming yet? Let's see. Caden Franklin. Health Center. Homecoming's always early, particularly in small schools, because you don't want the football team distracted by the worries about who's going to be homecoming king and queen, and the bonfire, and all that stuff, right? That's the reasoning coaches have, is they don't want their players distracted, right? It's the best week, how it brings the best and the worst out of people. Do people at any of the schools paint their parking places? Okay. I know Lubbock High did it. I didn't know they would do it. Seniors got to paint their parking places. Coronado does too? Okay. I know Last Buddy used to do it. Does Last Buddy still do it? Okay. I was trying to think who else. I saw a picture of a friend's daughter at Lubbock High who painted hers. Okay, cool. The length of time is 1 week's time. That's homecoming. Oh, I always hated having to help sell homecoming mums when I was, that drove me crazy. And the emotion that you felt was happiness. Yeah, homecoming kind of makes us smile. I've never been back to homecoming at my high school, and it was a long time ago. Okay? Because I'm teaching normally, that's why. And the incident fully supported, yes. Okay, cool. Who does Wellman play for homecoming this year? Who does, this is Hell Center though. Who does Hell Center play? Should be coming up pretty quick.
We play Clarendon.
Nobody's responding to me.
We play Clarendon.
Hold on, let me get over here.
We play Clarendon.
What was that?
We play Clarendon.
Clarendon. Interesting. That's a bit away. Obviously, homecoming, though, is going to be, and your homecoming tends to be at your school, right? All right, so needs grading. Okay, that should, yeah. All right, that's all of those. So, again, if you didn't get in your narrative outline, please get it in so I can look at it. You're going to lose some points, but it's better to lose a few points than 30 total. Wait, 25 total. That was the paragraph that was 30. So, Friday, you have a grammar quiz over fused run-on sentences, comma splices. So what we're going to do is I'm going to probably come up with another worksheet, make sure we all have the right answers on that. Everybody has those worksheets that I gave out last Thursday. Okay. It's hard to remember. I've slept several times since then. Talked about that. I'm done. That's all I got. All right. So we'll talk about that. We'll review some for that. We may also do some work with our textbooks. So make sure you have a computer handy so that you can work through some questions. We're going to look at the professional writing about Lou's Place because it's a pretty good essay. Okay? All right. I'll see y'all Thursday.
narrative paragraph?
It's gonna be a narrative essay.
Yeah, when is it?
You have a draft due Sunday night,
Oh, okay.
yeah. And we'll do peer revision next week, and then it'll be due sometime in the middle of
Oh,
next week.
okay. When you were talking about Sunday, I thought you were talking about,
No.
oh,
No, but we have the draft is due. The draft is due Sunday night.
okay.
Is the draft, so don't panic on that, okay? And I'll remind everybody about what they've got to have for school on Tuesday. Bye. See here. Okay. Hmm.